Regardless of the many problems with Overwatch, many of us still enjoy the game's core gameplay. That being said, with so many hours of grinding it, perhaps you're looking for something new or something to look forward to on the horizon that might cure you of your Overwatch addiction. So I'm going to be talking about 5 unique games that might just fix your addiction and be the next game that you truly fall in love with. Now, my question of the day is, would you watch non-Overwatch content from me if I put in a couple videos a week? And if so, what kind of videos would you like to see? Let me know down below. Now, the first game that we got to talk about is a game that I have been playtesting like freaking crazy, and it's a game called Project Loki. Now, this is a game that is created by Theorycraft Games, and while at first glance you're gonna think, oh, this looks like a Dota clone or something along those lines, this game is more similar to Overwatch than pretty much any other game that I've played, even though it's not a first-person shooter. Now, I can't go crazy into the specifics of this game, primarily because anyone who playtests the game is under an NDA, but I would highly recommend you jumping in onto their playtest, because really the amount of fun I'm having playing Project Loki is similar to the same feeling I got when I first played Overwatch and I was just having a blast just grinding the game. Now, here's the stuff I can tell you about the game. 1, it's class-based, and there are a ton of characters that will fit different playstyles, very similar to how Overwatch has many characters that are vastly different from one another. Number 2, there's crazy cool mobility. If you think that this looks like League of Legends, it's not even close because of the dynamic movement that you can have, and there's so many unique characters, advanced movement, high burst damage, high skill cap. You can just absolutely outplay the hell out of people, and it's so freaking cool. And it's actually interesting how a lot of the fundamental Overwatch strategies like rotations, team fights, pushing, pulling, ability use, management, ultimate use, all these things translate perfectly to a game like Project Loki. And I imagine that a lot of Overwatch players will absolutely fall in love with this game. And I know personally, if this game came out tomorrow, there'd be a really good chance that I would just hard grind this game, make content about this game, the entire works. So yeah, definitely look forward to this game. And with a brand new studio built with many of the top veterans in the gaming industry, I really have high hopes for the future of this game. And yeah, just to watch it progress behind the scenes, super cool. Definitely get on the playtest that happens about once a month, and you will almost 100% run into me in the playtest, and we'll play against each other. You're gonna get smoked, but you know, at least you're gonna learn a thing or two. Now, another game that we got to talk about is a little bit more on the announcement side. We don't have nearly as much information about it, but it's such a big potential launch that I have to mention it here. And it's Neon Prime, a game that is actually being created by freaking Valve. This is a game that is being created behind the scenes, and they have an external closed beta right now, but no gameplay has been leaked or shown of this game yet. But there's a couple reasons why you should be super excited about this game already. Number 1, it's freaking Valve. And Valve has just made like banger after banger. Almost all of their OG games were copied and created into things that, you know, people really love today. So like TF2 copied Overwatch, you know, freaking Valorant copied CSGO, and Dota copied League of Legends. It's kind of like they create these amazing game ideas and then they just, you know, leave like my dad did, and then you know, other game studios like copy their idea and become more successful than them. But with Counter-Strike 2 coming out and then just Valve seemingly mobilizing and starting to make games again, this is one that they have been cooking behind the scenes for a while. And there's a couple things that we already know about this that make it pretty exciting. Number 1, it's apparently going to be stylized art and a mix of Overwatch, TF2, Dota 2, and Teardown. So automatically, we know that the game is going to be Overwatch adjacent, and it also is going to be class-based, just like TF2. So there are going to be, you know, different characters that do different things, what we all kind of like. Now, I will say, though, that this is going to be third person, not first person. And while I prefer first person for sure, I don't mind third person. And really, I'm surprised that a third person game hasn't like exploded and taken over the freaking gaming industry, especially after the success of Fortnite, which was third person. We haven't really seen like a AAA freaking third person shooter at all. And I'm surprised because I feel like it's a space that should be explored and a lot of people are probably interested in. But it felt like after Fortnite, everything was just first person, which is kind of interesting. Allegedly, there's going to be an announcement of this game this year, and then the open beta will happen sometime next year. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one, but I'm pretty hyped about that. There's going to be a huge map, and you're going to have to travel on trains to move around the map. that's fairly interesting. And the most important final thing is that Valve wants to push the competitive game landscape forward with this title. So it's a game that Valve is serious about making it an esport, and they're also interested in kind of breaking up the staleness that is going on in like the competitive gaming industry, where it just seems like everything is kind of like just copying one another. There's no innovation. So I'm hyped about it. It's exciting to me. It's freaking Valve. I'm already on board. Come on. I mean, what is there more to say? Now, the next game is a game that is actually coming out incredibly soon, and it's a game that many people have already played, and it's The Finals. And The Finals is a 3-person squad-based shooter, first-person shooter, that is a bit on the wacky side, but also has some really, really cool elements. Not only are there a lot of different abilities and different types of weapons that are really cool to play, but there's also really, really fun moments in The Finals where you can, like, literally destroy an entire building. There's so many things that are destructible. There's so many crazy interactions. And I do think that The Finals kind of takes the fun aspect of a lot of these first-person shooters to the highest level. Instead of thinking about how do we balance this game perfectly, how do we make competitive integrity perfect, and they're just trying to like balance things to no avail, which like none of these games ever get balanced right. Instead, they're just like, you know what, let's just make things fucking fun. Let's just go above and beyond, see what we can do to make these games interesting, dynamic, different. And I really do think that if you're looking for something that is like Overwatch adjacent, that you're going to be able to use a lot of the same mechanical skills and understanding of how to take fights that you do in Overwatch and like transfer it over. But at the same time, a game that doesn't take itself as seriously, a community that probably won't take itself as seriously, and a place that you can just like play with your buddies and just have a freaking fun time. I really do think The Finals is going to be that. And this is a game that is coming out incredibly soon in the next couple of months. So many of us will be able to play the game and try the game and grind the game. So yeah, I definitely think this is one you should keep your eye on. And I do think that a lot of us Overwatch hard grinders have like gotten so addicted to Overwatch that sometimes we forget to have fun. And this is a game that might remind you, like, you can have fun playing games, you know? The next game we got to talk about is called X Defiant, and there's a lot of pros and cons about this game. This game looks really solid as far as a Call of Duty style game, but having abilities where we really like FPS abilities coming from Overwatch, and it looks really cool. I'll give it that. It looks like the best version of COD, in my opinion. Like, why would I want to play COD when I could play a game like this that combines cool abilities and has more ways to take fights? I think a lot of us really like dynamic abilities, and the cool thing about X Defiant is there's no roles or anything like that, so mainly you're just all shooting. Everyone's a DPS, everyone's running around, everyone has abilities. That's really cool, and honestly, I think the game has a lot of potential. But the big downside, it's perhaps made by a company worse than Blizzard, debatably Ubisoft, so yeah, there's gonna definitely be cons. I mean, that's just like automatic with any Ubisoft title. There is going to be monetization problems and balance problems and bug problems and all these problems that happen with Ubisoft. But, you know, I think that a lot of these things are more forgivable when you're not like loyal and tied to a game, right? When we love Overwatch and really, really want Overwatch to be like this amazing thing, and when it has the potential to be this amazing thing, we put it under a microscope and we want it to be better. But with this game, we already don't expect a lot from it. We just want to have a good time for a little while, and I think that is what this will deliver in a way that is kind of adjacent to Overwatch, but far different, and I do think that most people are going to have a blast playing this game. Plus, I also think that Overwatch players, especially support and DPS players going into X Defiant, you are going to roll freaking COD players. Like, all the COD players that are going to come play this game, they think they're going to be good. They think they're going to be better than Overwatch players. They are not. They're going to get farmed. I swear, any Soldier player, any Tracer player, any Ana player, y'all are going to absolutely farm all these COD players. So, yeah, let's just do that. That sounds like a fun time. Now, last but certainly not least, we're going back into like the really far off territory, games that we don't really have a definitive date, but games that seem like they have a lot of potential. And the one I put here is Marathon, which is Bungie's brand new game, but it's not a new IP. It's actually based on one of their older games from way back when. But Marathon is basically going to be a tactical FPS that is set in the future. It's set in space, and it's going to have like Halo roots or Halo style of gunplay, but at the same time combined with loot gathering, combined with a lot of the extraction shooter goodness. And I know a lot of you are probably like, extraction shooters, I freaking am traumatized by Tarkov, and I'm traumatized by all these other extraction shooters. But keep in mind that Marathon is going to be like the first ground up AAA extraction shooter. Like, there has been some other ones here and there that have kind of been like secondary thoughts off brand of the main game, but Marathon is built with that in mind. And let's not forget that Bungie dominated the FPS space, especially with all the Halos for a long time, and then they moved over to Destiny, which did really well, but it wasn't really a competitive shooter where you're playing against other people, and now they're going back to the competitive mindset. They're going back into the online multiplayer PvP. So I'm really excited about the Titans coming back and playing ball in the competitive FPS shooter space, and we're going to have to wait and see exactly what this game is going to fully entail, but just from the look and the company, I think that I'm giving a lot of stock to what this could become automatically in a very similar way that I'm like excited about Neon Prime before I even know what the game looks like. But anyways, let me know down below if there's any of these games that really excite you about them coming out, or is there any other game that you think can actually help cure you from your Overwatch addiction? Let me know in the comments down below, and smash the like, subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and let me know what other kind of videos you would like to see from me. If it's non-Overwatch related, like I said, I'm going to do like 2 or 3 a week, just kind of intermingling them in, because, you know, we post every day, so I don't have to just kind of keep posting the same kind of content over and over again. But definitely let me know down below. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you next time.